Well, good morning, everyone, or good evening, wherever you may be in the world. We welcome you back to the Motorsport Australia OFI Cup. Back once again for yet another round of fierce competition as now our drivers set sail to the Americas region. We're landing in Texas here today in a bid to once again crown a race winner. They're largely been kept with some of the big names. Gregory Prisball, who has largely dominated so far this season, taking the first 4 victories in the first 4 races. Campbell Adams, though, in recent races, pulling off some wondrous displays, also featuring up at the very top over the last 2 rounds. But a big hello to all of you tuning in around the globe. We now head to Kota, as I said prior. Obviously, such a great opportunity to see some great talents coming through from the Oceania region, coming in and providing us with a show or indeed a spectacle. But before we get into this, before we get into the big business of qualifying here this morning as the drivers make their way out on track, here is a lap guide with the one, the only, Brendan Lee.
Here we go for the full speed lap. When beginning the lap, you want 70 degrees on the front tyres, 74 on the rear as well. Flying down to turn 1, use the overtake button until 80% on the battery available. Through turn 1 again, enabling the overtake button on the exit, draining it all the way down until 70%, and then you go into the first sector flat round here again, and then through the right hander, lifting off the throttle down to 5th, commit to the curb on the inside, down to 4th, pull the short shift to 5th, and then you can just take this flat out over the top of the crest of the hill, down to 59% on the battery there. Over the curbing on the right hand side, down to 3rd gear, look for rotation, but even more importantly, the traction onto the back straight, using that overtake button as we enable the DLS, and we're going to be draining all the way down until 17% on that overtake button and the battery available. 100 meter board down to 3rd gear, commit over the curb on the inside, a little tap of the overtake button in 4th, down to 3rd, through the right hander, drop the braking bias from 54 to 53 for this left hander, into 3rd gear, prioritize the exit speed and back on the power, draining the overtake button but briefly turning it off as the tyres are fully loaded in the middle of the corner, and then back on it as you approach the final 2 corners of the lap here, down to 5th gear, draining all you have left in that overtake button as you go into the final apex of the lap, again draining everything you have for the run up to the line, and it's a 1:30.2.
So there we have it, folks. Big thank you to Brendan Lee for supplying us with that lap guide as we now look ahead to yet another fiercely contested qualifying session. No times currently listed quite yet, but already the drivers making their way out onto the circuit. Marcus Costa, the only driver not taking to the track because he is going to be serving a qualifying ban after an interruption to another driver's lap back at Spa last time out. But Riley McKay instantly now making his way around the final corners. OFI Princess now goes first fastest in the immediate. Campbell Adams now to the top with a 1:30.321. So now the mainstay qualifying session gets underway. Gregory Prisball with a 1:37.09. Matt Plevey crosses the line with a 1:32.490, quite outside the spectrum of everybody else. Oxgello has gone 4th fastest ahead of T-Mac as well, both nestling in 1:31s as now Yusuf Syed now goes 2nd fastest. Was one of the shining lights last time back at Spa as well. We'll see whether he can unlock the same opportunities here at Kota. Riley McKay 4th fastest, 1:30.6 to align himself with the other 1:30s that we have also seen as well. Joey Snarf now the slowest driver out on circuit with a 1:34.203. Marcus Costa just retiring from the session. Obviously there's nothing nefarious there, folks. That is more centered around the fact that he is banned from this session, so will not take any further part in qualifying here this morning. Yusuf Syed, though, as we currently watch him on screen, invalidating this run around, but of course this being the cool-down lap after his fast run was enlisted, so probably not too heartbroken by that. We've got Sebastian King returning, also looking to try and flurry in an improved lap time, but he is invalidated already. Of course, brother to Oscar King, one of the top contenders in the OFI over recent seasons. And Sebastian King looking to write his own legacy as well as part of the King family, but now stretching down the long straight, heading into the heavy braking zone at turn 12. This, of course, being part of 2 DRS zones that we have here at the Circuit of the Americas. Track that sits with 3.3 1.43 miles in distance, 5.51 kilometres. Certainly not quite as long as Spa-Francorchamps, but certainly not anywhere near really being the longest track on the calendar, but longer than some, and offers a great spectacle in terms of racing with its variety in cornering. Also, Sebastian King now flurrying around the final sector. We got Flubber also invalidating his run. As part of this 14-car contingent, it's now heavy on the brakes goes Flubber, coming into the braking zone. A lot of you might be asking as to why we are only with one commentator in the box right now. Well, Lindsay Muddle is on his way, everybody. Of course, he wasn't actually down to commentate this morning. Unfortunately, we have not seen Jaden arrive in to take his seat in the box. So therefore, we've had to call in the cover. And Lindsay Muddle has responded. He is on his way and is going to be sitting alongside me for the race that we will have coming up later on. So we will be catching Lindsay Muddle just after qualifying is concluded. Flubber now making his way around the final corner now this time. And we'll look to get started on yet another flying lap. Pretty much everybody else has come into the pits. Obviously feeling that they have done enough for the initial stint. We've still got 11 minutes and 12 to take us through anyway. So plenty more to come. As we now watch Jack Humphreys coming through the soiree of corners before then through the double left-handers. As now the Papaya McLaren comes into the pits. Currently 7th fastest, 1:31.186. Outlap now for Matt Pleavy. Jack Humphreys, of course, former Aussie icon. Still is an icon in many ways, but of course we've seen more and more drivers come through and represent the nation. As we now see the McLaren get wheeled into the garage. Yusuf Syed, though, back again. Now, we could talk about some of the numbers as well, folks, because obviously there's been lots of, should we say, astounding performances here from Gregory Prisball, who largely, I must say, has been spearheading this championship. And I must say, could be the case again that we could see him reach the heights here in Kota. The first 4 races delivering those victories, and he has been impenetrable, really, for a large portion. Though Campbell Adams in recent times has been the one to watch. He's had quite a gargantuan effect on this championship standing, certainly over the last 2 rounds. But now sits currently provisionally at the top of the tree. Of course, still 9 minutes and 50 or so for that to change. And Yusuf Syed will be hoping that he could be the one to make that change here this morning, as now we watch as the Williams makes his way down in towards the heavy braking zone here at Kota this time. And then we'll get back on the power in preparation for yet another flying lap. But currently it's just under 3/10 difference between the top 2 in terms of lap time here and now. OFI Princess currently sat down in 3rd as well. Only a mere 9 thousandths away from Yusuf Syed right now. We've got Gregory Prisball joining the action once again. Riley McKay doing the same. Of course, Riley McKay, one of the fastest drivers yet to take a race victory this season. In this round that could see us only obtain our 3rd different race winner of the campaign also. As now we watch as Yusuf Syed crosses the line and gets set for yet another flying lap. We'll take the run up through towards turn 1. Full power. Before then downshifting to 3rd gear, coming in towards the first corner apex, and then downhill again. You take the incline through the elevation and then immediately decline coming through in towards turn 2, through turn 3, 4, 5, and then later turn 6. Just feathering that throttle, applying necessary braking where you need to. Obviously, generally these drivers won't be operating with that brake pedal hardly at all. A lot of it will be engine braking, just skipping over the curbs. And I must say that is a very nice first sector there from Yusuf Syed, who is now looking to try and rip away that P1 position from Campbell Adams. The Williams now back on the power once again. Heading down the straight, coming out of turn 11. DRS now opens up. And in 8th gear, Yusuf Syed will move his way past some of the cars getting prepped for their flying laps, as he now hits the apex of the corner coming through turn 12. Now into sector 3 proper. Once again, it lights up purple for him as he looks to improve on his previous lap of a 1:36.03. He'll then make his way through the dogged turn 15. And then the soiree of corners now as he sprints through 16, 17 and 18. Before then descending through turns 19 and turns 20 to bring in yet another lap on the mean red soft tyre. beckoning his way around that final bend, just got it slightly tied up, but Yusuf Said looking for an improvement, does improve, only by 6,000, so some big time lost from Yusuf Said. Campbell Adams also making his way around the track, looking to find some kind of improvement as well. But he certainly won't be the first to cross the line to register a lap time. As now Sebastian King rejoins the action. It will be OFI Princess, who currently on his out lap will cross the line to get started on his next flying lap. Flubber also doing the same as well. Joey Staff also making his way through the final corners in this stint, but unfortunately having to pull up at this point. So it will be Campbell Adams who will look to improve on that original 130.321, but does come into the pits. Obviously doesn't think that he had enough in the locker through the course of the qualifying session, as now Potato goes just down into 7th fastest at the moment, now making his way down in towards turn 12, has invalidated his current run and just getting that tail snapped out as well at the same time. Gregory Prisball coming through the series of bends, looking to really improve that 130.709. Currently sat just under 4/10 away from Campbell Adams right now. Will look to put a big hole in this. The championship leader up towards the line will now provisionally move on to the front row. 41 thousandths of a second between him and Campbell Adams here in qualifying. So it's Adams and Prisball, your two sole race winners this season, meeting together. Of course, Campbell Adams being crowned a PSGL champion in his own right also. A lot of momentum stacked in his corner. And has largely missed out on a lot of competition already this season in the OFI. Some of the race results could have been largely different with his presence on the grid. It's now Riley McKay continues around the track as well. 3rd place for him. It's the familiar faces that we have seen at the top in terms of qualifying as of late. As now we watch as Flubber makes his way around the final corners, also in the Kick Sauber, looking to register his first lap of the session. Has unfortunately had troubles with invalidations. Finally gets a lap on the board. It's a 140.5. Certainly isn't going to trouble the top end of the order. As now we await Oxgillo, who comes into the pits this time. He won't be registering a lap time. Matt Plevey will be commencing yet another flying lap. As now the RB of Riley McKay on his cool-down run will very soon bring it into the pits. Currently treading water with Gregory Prisball on this cool-down lap, but will have one more chance, you'd fathom, of jumping up on to pole position. We could see a major twist in the works. As now the OFI Princess currently sits down in 5th fastest. Did improve, obviously, to a 130.612. Not too far apart from Yusuf Said, who has been certainly one of the more gargantuan improvers since we've seen him in prior campaigns. So now we await for more drivers to come into the box to get set ready for the final stints. Of course, further back, we would expect to see improved lap times from the likes of Matt Plevey, trying to jump into that 131 bracket to coincide with the likes of Oxgillo, Potato. Jack Humphreys currently locked down in the 131s also, as OFI Princess allows Flubber to continue around the outside before coming into the pits. Good opportunity now as we see a slight break in play. With no drivers necessarily improving on these current runs, we can give you an insight as to our last race result, folks. And in terms of how things have stacked up. Obviously, this is from Belgium. Campbell Adams, your race winner from last time. And was impressive in his efforts of attempting to land a big blow to Gregory Prisball's championship charge. Of course, Campbell Adams, a former champion. Gregory Prisball, twice over a champion, came 2nd, still picking up big points coming into this. And then also elsewhere, Riley McKay finishing in 3rd as well. But it's been a fantastic season on part of Gregory Prisball, who, despite not winning last time out at Spa, still coming away with massive points. And this is how the championship standings currently look as well, folks. Gregory Prisball currently at the top of the tree on 138 after that second place at Belgium. Still a 49-point gap to Campbell Adams in second place. Riley McKay down in third as well, 66 points apart. Generally speaking, you're looking at the top two for the championship. And we'll certainly see very soon as to who's going to come out on top, though argument's sake, in this case, given the gaps, it's likely to go Gregory Prisball's way. But we can now rejoin the action out on circuit. So the drivers providing quite the spectacle. We're now going to see the final runs in qualifying. Campbell Adams on your screen, your current provisional pole sitter, with under 2 minutes left to run, a 1:30.321, enough to take him to the top for now. Gregory Prisball down in second will look to stop that from happening. 41 thousandths between the top two, with Riley McKay on a 1:30.508. Just could not quite unlock the pace, Riley McKay, back at Spa. He was trying with all his might to maintain the DRS gap, but unfortunately it just got a little bit too much for him, and obviously with one thing and another at the very start of the race contributing to certain drivers toppling down the order, it meant things were rather tricky for certain contenders to maintain the pace with Campbell Adams and Gregory Prisball. But it's a fresh opportunity, a fresh chance here at COTA. But it's Campbell Adams, your provisional pole sitter. Let us know in the live chat as well. Folks, want to hear from you as to who you think is going to land pole for this one. There's now OFI Princess picks up a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. So obviously that will get reset when the lobby gets redrafted, of course. So do not despair. We're not quite sure of the circumstances there for OFI Princess. Obviously all the cars battling for track position there at the moment. As now Joey Staff comes out of turn 11 now and will blast his way down the long straight with DRS open again before descending in towards turn 12. We'll need to make sure he hits every single apex appropriately. Plenty of other drivers now starting to worm their way through. There's Jack Humphries in the background of shots as well, looking to improve from 8th fastest. Certainly not a position you'd expect a former champion to be in. T-Mac has retired from the session. He will not go any higher than 9th place. There's now Joey Snaff. Looks to light up the timing screens and improve on his prior lap time. He's going to stretch now through turn 16, 17 and 18 before hitting 19 and 20. The Haas now looking to unleash all the promise in the world, but is saving energy right now. He's expelled it all already. Certainly hasn't invalidated his lap, but this will be the final chance for Joey Snaff, and he will not improve, but it will be an improvement for Jack Humphries. He pops up into 7th fastest. We've got Yusuf Said, who goes quickest of all now. 1:30.2 to strip Campbell Adams from his reign up at the very top. Gregory Prisball will be next. The time gaps are certainly coming down. The times themselves cascading down, as now Gregory Prisball will only go 2nd fastest. It's Yusuf Said at the moment who is quickest of anybody. We've got Potato whipping the tail out around the final corner. Where will he go? Can he improve? No, lost too much time through that final sector. Oxchillo goes 6th fastest as well. Riley McKay coming out of the final corner. He's invalidated. He won't improve from 4th fastest, as we now see Sebastian King remain in 12th. Flubber now also crossing the line in the mean green Kicksauber machine. He will not improve either. He will remain 13th. Now, what about OFI Princess? Is there any improvements here for the Scuderia Ferrari? 1:30. Goes 2nd fastest ahead of Gregory Prisball. Brilliant time laid down. As now Campbell Adams looks to improve, but he can't. He's invalidated his lap. It's Yusuf Said with the fastest time at the close of qualifying. He will start on pole position here for the race at COTA. A cracking lap time to unseat Campbell Adams, the PSGL champion. From that top spot, he will be joined by OFI Princess in 2nd place with 44 thousandths between them. Gregory Prisball on the 2nd row, joined by championship contender Campbell Adams. And Riley McKay in 5th place as well. Oxchillo 6th, Jack Humphries in 7th. And we do have Potato in 8th as well, with T-Mac 9th, Matt Plevey in 10th. Joey Snaff in 11th place. Then comes Sebastian King as well. Flubber, who had some tricky moments out there, wasn't able to embrace an improved lap time, a 1:40.5 with Marcus Costa unable to take part due to the qualifying ban. So there we have it, folks. That is the qualifying session completed. Lots of high drama. It's been a pleasure to watch. Obviously, very shortly, we will have Lindsay Muddle joining me in the commentary box as well, folks. We're just waiting for him to join us here in the box as we speak. But just a quick reminder as to where the last race result landed us as well once again. Of course, it was Campbell Adams who came away your race winner. And that, by extension, closing the gap slightly to Gregory Prisball in the championship. But he'll need a lot more than that, Campbell Adams. He'll need a lot of misery to go Gregory Prisball's way in order to land a significant blow to the championship. But much more to come. Riley McKay down in third as well, ahead of Oxcello, Yusuf Said, Thomas McInnes, as well as Jack Humphreys, Apollo Pepsi, Matt Plevey, Ryan Bell, your top 10 at the close of the race at Spa. This is what it's done to the championship. Obviously, as we saw before, during the midway or mid-course of our qualifying session here at COTA, Gregory Prisball, your current championship leader on 138. That is a reign that is largely going to take a lot to stop right now. Every single race has at least landed him a second place result. Podiums across the board throughout the 6 races we have witnessed. 4 of them, the first 4, all being blanket race wins here for Gregory Prisball. Campbell Adams, who currently sits second in the table as well due to missing out on Australia and Italy, therefore has left him, currently sat in second place. But even with the 4 races that he has met as well, much like Gregory Prisball, he has not left the top 2 placings in the championship. So what could have been had he been able to compete at Australia and Italy? Riley McKay down in third has largely been up there and fighting for major points, but just not close enough in terms of garnering those crucial race wins that could have changed the game for him points-wise. He currently sits just, though, behind Campbell Adams by 7 points as it stands. 56, separating himself and Gregory Prisball at the same time. Oscar King down in fourth with Jack Humphreys in 5th as well. But it's high drama, and we've really enjoyed this season and this championship campaign as we've made our way through the course of its running. And a lot more to come, that is for sure. And we look forward to bringing that in for you. And I'm pleased to say that Lindsay Muddle is with us right now. Lindsay, good morning.
Yeah, well, g'day. It's a good night for me. I've just
good night
finished
for
work
you.
and I've got the super sub role back on form, and it looks like there was an interesting qualifying. Yusuf on pole, Oscar King in P2. That was pretty phenomenal.
It was. I must say, credit to Yusuf Said. Definitely seen largely a massive growth on his part, Lindsay. I'm sure perhaps you'd attest to that too. After seeing him over recent OFI contests, you know, he has been absolutely sensational, really. I mean, we saw him perform brilliantly back at Spa.
Yeah, he does continue to impress again and again and again, and I think he's just getting better. But Campbell Adams and Gregory Prisball both not on their best stride, on the back foot now, P3 and P4 respectively for the both of them. And I think that this is going to be a good opportunity for someone else potentially outside those two to take a win, because with the way dirty air is on this game, and especially around Circuit of the Americas, I think that it could be quite tricky for them to get back into it.
Yeah, it could be tricky. I mean, I apologise for this, Lindsay, but we are going to be using the Jaden Oakley graphic, I think, for this one,
fine.
just for now. But obviously, that is Lindsay Muddle joining us here right now, folks. So I do apologise. For some reason, it did not load up. There we go. Brilliant stuff. So we are back in the room. But yeah, looking here to you tonight, Jaden. Obviously, we are here at COTA for this one. It's going to be spectacular. It's a challenging track with, you know, obviously plenty of variation in terms of cornering, but that makes it great for the racing as well, does it not? I mean, obviously we've had many great races at COTA in the past. It's one of Jarno Opmeer's absolute favourites. He has taken some incredible victories in the wet around this circuit, and you do get that nice contrast, don't you, around this track with hairpin bends. At the same time, you get the flurry of corners. The S section as well in the first sector is absolutely notorious. Almost takes the leaf out of Silverstone's book with Maggots and Beckett's as well. It's just a roller coaster and a thrill ride from start to finish.
Yeah, it really is. Sector 3 as well is just absolutely fantastic. Really slow speed sections of track, but they go on for a long time, so you're really struggling to get the car in pointed towards the apexes, and then it really is rear tyre limited through that last sector as well. So Coda does have a good balance of corners, and I think that it does create quite a tricky situation for these drivers, because you can't just be good at one part of the circuit. You've got to be good through all three sectors. It's a long lap at Circuit of the Americas, and the drivers have to deliver every single one of them over the course of 28 laps.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, in terms of standouts from qualifying, from your books, Jade, let's see, Jade, on your, from your books, Lindsay, just give me your thoughts and feelings on, you know, where we stand coming into this race. Who really impressed you? I think, obviously, you've got to look at Yusuf, haven't you? I think on the basis that he has been, you know, astonishing. His growth has been brilliant. Is there anyone else you can highlight from qualifying that you think that's improved? We haven't seen that from that driver in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about in the past, but over the course of this season, I mean, Oscar King's been up there, but a front row of the grid potentially not expected, especially when Campbell's around, so that definitely caught me by surprise. I mean, I was speaking about it with Slammer just before as I was getting into the F1 game, and we saw him go to P2, and we were both like, whoa, where did that come from? Because as much as he's a high caliber driver, he is normally quite quick in the race and not great at performing in qualifying. So to get a P2 lap on the board, I think that quite impressed me.
Yeah, absolutely impressed me as well. And obviously now, once again, it's Yusuf's side, another different pole sitter, of course, adding his name to the list. But largely, the championship itself has been contested between two figureheads, is it not, at this point, Lindsay? Obviously, with the likes of Gregory Prisball, who has been absolutely impenetrable, really, so far this season. First 4 races, 4 wins. Though the last 2 rounds have gone Campbell Adams' way, who has really been trying his best to obviously correct the fact that he wasn't able to partake in 2 earlier rounds in this championship. You've got to credit Campbell Adams' versatility and his never-say-die attitude. He is hoping that Gregory Prisball makes a mistake over the remaining rounds to give himself a chance at winning the title.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's definitely possible, especially tonight. Starting from 4th on the grid, Greg might get a little bit desperate, go for a move that he doesn't necessarily have to. He could find himself with damage for all we know, being around Yusuf, Oscar, and Campbell himself. So there's always the opportunity to make a mistake off of that race start and end up being a race killer. So Gregory Prisball definitely will be worrying about that, and Campbell will be excited by the prospect that that might happen, because if Campbell does win tonight, if Greg makes a mistake, that opens up the championship, and then even if Greg doesn't make a mistake, Campbell, I think, could still go on to get some points over Gregory Prisball, especially with the electric form Campbell Adams has been showing recently. He just looks like the one to beat.
Yeah, definitely does. Well, we'll just quickly remind you as to how the calendar looks, folks. Obviously, we still have rounds ticking us through to the end of the season, but as you can see, the first 6 have already been decided. Gregory Prisball taking the victory back at Australia. He then went ahead and did the same at Losail as well. Canada and Italy soon followed, and then Campbell Adams launched himself into the wins equation with a win at Silverstone. He followed it up at Spa last time out as well. We've still got Austin, Texas, which is where we are here tonight, before heading to Mexico for round 8 and then round 9 at Interlagos before we hit the precipice. That is Yas Marina on December the 11th. Of course, a little reminder that all times that are listed are all Sydney, Melbourne based as well. Obviously, slightly different times for me inside the UK. In the meantime, we're going to take a brief break and we're going to run a hot lap guide again, as delivered by Brendan Lee.
Here we go for the full speed lap. When beginning the lap, you want 70 degrees on the front tyres, 74 on the rear as well. Flying down to turn 1, use the overtake button until 80% on the battery available. Through turn 1 again, enabling the overtake button on the exit, draining it all the way down until 70%, and then you go into the first sector flat, round here, flat round here again, and then through the right hander, lifting off the throttle down to 5th, commit to the curb on the inside, down to 4th, pull the short shift to 5th, and then you can just take this flat out over the top of the crest of the hill, down to 59% on the battery there. Over the curbing on the right hand side, down to 3rd gear, look for rotation, but even more importantly, the traction onto the back straight, using that overtake button as we enable the DLS, and we're going to be draining all the way down until 17% on that overtake button and the battery available. 100-meter board down to third gear, commit over the curb on the inside, a little tap of the overtake button, in fourth, down to third, through the right-hander, drop the braking bias from 54 to 53 for this left-hander, into third gear, prioritize the exit speed and back on the power, draining the overtake button, but briefly turning it off as the tyres are fully loaded in the middle of the corner, and then back on it as you approach the final 2 corners of the lap here, down to 5th gear, draining all you have left in that overtake button as you go into the final apex of the lap, again draining everything you have for the run up to the line, and it's a 130.2.
Well, a big thank you to Brendan Lee again for the Hot Lap Guide. And we do appreciate your company as well, folks. For those of you tuning in here, George Morgan here, back on your screens presenting with you, or for you, the OFI Cup, powered by Motorsport Australia. Big thank you to Motorsport Australia as well for being a supporter and also championing this championship campaign as well, as we look to expand sim racing in the Oceanic regions, and we continue to do so. Lindsay Muddle back alongside me as well, obviously stepping in for Jaden Oakley, who could not be with us here tonight. But, I mean, obviously, with a grand platform that this now is, at the same time, Lindsay, obviously we've witnessed some fantastic racing in the OFI in the past, but having that credibility from Motorsport Australia, we've seen a similar thing with the Formula Regional European Championship that has now been aligned with the FIA solely now, and now sits as a true beacon in between the F4 championships, the FIA F4 championships, and FIA Formula 3. I mean, this is quintessentially the same perspective, only Motorsport Australia now standing up and recognising the OFI Cup as a representative league, a representative competition for Aussie racing, and that really does make quite the difference, does it not?
Yeah, it does make quite the difference, George. But I'll tell you what, we've missed the race start.
Have we?
Yeah, we're all the way through lap 1.
I'm not even in the session.
Oh no, we're all the way through lap 1.
We were doing a lobby reset, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I didn't get an invite.
No, like we did a soft lobby reset. You stay in the same lobby and then you ready up again.
Oh right, okay. I've just received an invite now, so it's all good.
I was sitting there and I'm like, hold on, why are we not commentating the lights? Like, what is happening?
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I can give an update. So Yusuf leads the way from Gregory Prisball, then Oscar King now is in third. Campbell Adams didn't get off the line well, but he is also on the hard compound tyres compared to the top 3 on medium. So Campbell Adams off the back foot and outside of Oscar King's DRS already, with the train hounding behind him as well. Oxchillo and Riley McKay were just having a battle as well through the S's. So that is what is going on at the moment, and Yusuf could potentially be under threat here from Gregory Prisball in a few moments' time, as Oscar King also lurking, waiting in the wings. Campbell Adams burning a little bit of battery though to get back within that DRS range.
Yeah, well, we're just about loading up in here now, folks. We shouldn't be too far away from bringing you the live coverage. Do apologise for that. Obviously, a little bit of a miscommunication somewhere, but we are now heading to Texas for the start of this race. Obviously, we have missed the start, but we will be racing very shortly. Just waiting for the session to load up for me now, as we do get ourselves into Texas. Are we there? Are we not? Yes, we are. We'll head across to all the action as we're seeing it. Yusuf Said, your pole sitter coming into this, still leading the race here at COTA, but still aligned with Gregory Prisball. Little detail on the tyres. Mediums for the top 3. Hard tyres for Campbell Adams. Differentials on strategies. Riley McKay now moving up into 7th place ahead of Potato as they come through now the final 2 corners on lap 2 to begin lap 3 of 28. Yusuf Said, Prisball and Oscar King, your top 3 here at Texas here, Lindsay.
Yep, so Gregory Prisball, while you were loading in, did try and move around the outside of Yusuf heading into the start of Sector 3, but couldn't quite make the move stick. So Yusuf was able to hold on to the lead. Meanwhile, Riley, he was in 6th. He dropped behind Oxchillo in a little bit of contact with Ox, I believe, as well. So he's struggling a lot here off the race start, but that is the tyre deficit between the mediums and the hards that's making some drivers really struggle. Campbell Adams trying the alternate strategy, as we saw him do last time out. So Campbell, one for trying the alternate strategy, and if he can stay inside that DRS range, I don't think he's going to have any problems pulling this off.
No, I don't think so. I think, obviously, at the moment, Yusuf Said is, by all intents and purposes, a sitting duck because, of course, as the race leader, no DRS going to that said driver. Prisball will surely pounce on the opportunity. I suppose there's a difference in comparison to what we've seen as far as a little nudge in the rear from Prisball on the back of Yusuf Said as we get or move our way into the final sector very shortly. Said still holding his own up at the front, but current championship leader Gregory Prisball becoming the thorn in his side. The top 4 have now stretched ahead of Jack Humphreys, who's down in 5th at the moment, 2.4 away from Campbell Adams as it stands, and still joined by Oxchillo. Jack Humphreys, it's currently just inside of a second between those two, with Riley McKay down in 7th place. Not really the start that Riley McKay was looking for, I would suggest, Lindsay.
Yeah, I would think the same thing, but as I said, it's tyre deficit. It just makes it so hard to move forward, and then add in the engine temps and the dirty air. It's just making it really difficult here for Riley McKay. He was making moves off the start, but now it's into rhythm. Everybody's able to utilise the grip that they have at their disposal. It's not working out for him. This race will come back into him, though, as he goes onto the mediums later on in this race. That is when he'll really hit his stride and continue to move up through this field. Gregory Prisball, in the meantime, 4.5 tenths away from Yusuf. If he can stay at that gap, then he could very well be on for a move here.
Yeah, could well be. He's going to try and stick with Yusuf Said as it stands. Campbell Adams in 4th as well. Obviously looking to try and jump past Oscar King at the first time of asking, though at this point in time Campbell Adams in the pound seats in terms of how the strategies could yet unfold. He's going to go long as opposed to those on the medium tyres that are starting on the faster rubber, as that Prisball goes right round the outside here, coming through into the braking zone at turn 12, and despite his efforts of defending, Yusuf Said toppled from the top. It's Prisball who leads here on lap 4.
Yeah, a brilliant move from Prisball and a critical one as well. He needed to take the lead, and he now needs to see what he can do with that clean air, especially when it comes to being able to save his tyres. It will be helpful for him because he knows Campbell Adams is right there, and the race is only coming more towards him. Those hard tyres will get better and better and better as those mediums wear away. So Greg will know that. He'll be vigilant of that fact, and Oscar King as well needs to probably look at getting past Yusuf as well to make a little bit of a barrier. Meanwhile, Jack Humphreys and Oxchillo only 6 tenths separated, so a couple of nice little battles forming at the moment, but Gregory Prisball already got 5 tenths over Yusuf as he heads through turn 1 moments after making the overtake, but still not enough. Yusuf will probably have a counter-attack waiting.
Yeah, and the rear light flashing on the back of Gregory Prisball's car suggests that he is quite happy to just focus on conserving the battery. I think he's just trying to break away from Yusuf Said here. I think you're absolutely right here, Lindsay. His immediate concerns, I would imagine, are pointed directly at Campbell Adams, not only because he is a fellow championship contender, but given the way the dice is stacked here for this race, or at least the chessboard is stacked, Campbell Adams is sat here on hard tyres inside of DRS on Oscar King, which means when the pit stop phase unleashes later on, those hards are going to be in a better position than those medium tyres, quintessentially prior to those medium runners boxing. Oscar King trying to defend the place here against Campbell Adams this time, who throws the dummy out, comes straight back inside behind the Ferrari, and once again just firing off those warning shots as now down the inside comes Yusuf Said, trying to challenge for the race lead, back again this time on Gregory Prisball, and snatches it back, coming through sector 3 here on lap 5, and Oscar King looking to do the same as well as they go wheel to wheel. The Red Bull and the Ferrari, but Prisball subjugates the move, remains in second place.
Yep, that was a fantastic bit of racing. I'm surprised Gregory was able to hold on to that when Oscar King lunged up his inside, but he got the better exit and used that to his advantage. Yusuf sneaking it up the inside of the long right-hander, and it just about worked for him. A little bit of wheel rubbing later, and he was able to get through. Very, very clean there, though, despite the wheel rubbing. It was able to work for him, and now Gregory Prisball wants to take the lead again. You can see he's chomping at the bit already right underneath the rear wing of Yusuf's car as he tries to retake the lead, but he's going to have to wait. He has to be patient. He has to play his cards right. All of this battling is just allowing Campbell Adams to be right there, and that's a scary prospect when you look at the overall picture of this race. Campbell staying right there with blistering pace and consistency, just watching everybody unfold around him as they continue to battle. This is exactly the scenario Campbell Adams would have been hoping for.
Yeah, chasing that 3 consecutive race win tally. That would mean that he's only 1 short of Gregory Prisball's tally for this season as well. Yusuf's side basically helping Campbell Adams' situation right now. Concertinaing the front 4 is now once again they're going to go wheel to wheel, and contact shared between them. Riley McKay moving up to the 6th, but that's not the story, because Gregory Prisball has launched his way forward again. Down the inside here of Yusuf's side. Again they make contact though, side on the return. Looking to retake that lead back again. Prisball with a better line though, coming through the corners of 13, 14 and 15. He's going to look to withstand the pressure, hold on to the lead of the race, and does claim it back from Yusuf's side.
This is absolutely fantastic racing, and it's not slowing down as now Campbell Adams is on the outside of the penultimate corner, around the outside of Oscar King. He takes to the runoff area as he showed the door, and he's been absolutely shoved off the track now. He's trying to get the run in towards turn 1 on Oscar King. What about Yusuf? Is he going to have a go? No, he's not, but Campbell Adams is right there on Oscar King, but not able to make it stick. There's fantastic racing going on in this top 4, and it's really scrappy stuff. This is fantastic racing coming out of Circuit of the Americas at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a volatile start where usually we would see the culmination at the end of a race turn a little bit fiery. Well, we've seen a different set of circumstances this time. At least on this occasion, it's the start of the race as now T-Mac looks to move his way through, as now it looks like Potato's had some problems. He is dropped behind Matt Plevey as well, so T-Mac up into 8th place. But Campbell Adams asking major questions now, the top 3. He knows that he's going to be on better tyres, and with the fact that Gregory Prisball and Yusuf's side are fighting, not only does it concertina the grid, but also it's using up that medium tyre at this point at a very fragile moment. In comes Riley McKay on Jack Humphreys. He moves into 5th place as well, and bear in mind Riley McKay also on the long strategy, so he could play a part late in the day come the end of this Cota extravaganza. It could not just be Campbell Adams. We could see Riley McKay utilise the same strategy as he now very nearly breaks into DRS of Adams in 4th place.
Yeah, that gap is continuing to close as these guys in front continue to battle, and this has really helped Riley. He was down and sort of out of it after the opening few laps. He dropped a lot of time, but now himself and Jack Humphreys, as they've battled, have closed further and further in, and now Riley McKay has gotten inside the DRS range. So this is really pivotal as now Campbell Adams lunges up the inside at turn 1 on Oscar King. They're going to go wheel to wheel. There's a bit of wheel rubbing there between the P3 and P4 cars as the prancing horse inches ahead and stays ahead of Campbell Adams, putting on a stellar defensive effort, and now they've lost the DRS to Yusuf and Gregory Prisball. So that's a critical moment in the grand scheme of this race as Riley McKay is now well and truly on the scene, looking to get his nose into this battle. This is fantastic for Riley. Not good for Campbell though, as he continues to bleed time to the top 2.
Yeah, and obviously I would say the one person that's probably thankful of this is Gregory Prisball from a certain aspect, but still Yusuf's side is right in the rear of Prisball. It's still the front 2 fighting it out, and all it takes is one move from Yusuf's side to once again bring the grid, the classification back together again, and judging from what we've seen from side, he's more than happy to do that, as now in comes Campbell Adams again at the inside at turn 12. He's been poking the bear that is Oscar King considerably in the opening stint of the race. The switch back on offer for the Alpine as now Campbell Adams tries the long way round against the prancing horse that continues to prance onwards. Oscar King again denies Campbell Adams an opportunity for P3, and the gap extends from 1.1 to 1.6.
And Campbell Adams got damage in all of that. Campbell Adams is missing a front right end plate. That is detrimental, especially at a track like Kota that relies on so much downforce. That damage is going to be absolutely detrimental, as now here comes Riley McKay looking for it on Campbell Adams. Not going to be close enough this time around, but he's definitely now in the hot seat to try and get past the Alpine that lays in front of him with the damage on the front wing. Campbell Adams' race has gone from great to potentially destroyed here. That damage is going to cost him so dearly.
Well, whereas a third consecutive victory looked like a distinct possibility, it's now become certainly a very unlikely occurrence for Campbell Adams, who is now dropping time from Oscar King at this point. It is now nearly 7/10 between them, and Riley McKay now becomes the larger threat here for Campbell Adams in his quest for yet another race win. Marcus Costa with another 3-second time penalty going his way. He's collecting them at the moment through the course of this race, as now we see once again Yusuf Said having a little look, this time on Gregory Prisball. No move in the offing, as now Riley McKay dances up the inside this time of Campbell Adams and will snatch that P4 away, and that looked largely very simple at this point, Lindsay.
Yeah, and it was always going to be. And now Jack Humphreys potentially as well, licking his lips, looking to get involved in this one, seeing the opportunity to get inside the top 5. He's not had a particularly great return to the OFI, but definitely not bad. A top 5 would be absolutely fantastic for him, though, would it be for Jack Humphreys? And what a story. Oxchillo as well, waiting in the wing, seeing if he can get involved, as there we go. Campbell Adams pulls off to the inside, so what was supposed to be the overcut with the hard tyres becomes an early box, and a race ruined here for Campbell Adams. But he's down, but not out. But it's highly unlikely now that this race could go anywhere in his favour, especially having to take the long pit stop.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the strategy has been ripped up. He's now got to take medium tyres, basically for a whole 18 laps. Now, the one thing that might help him is that he will be on faster medium tyre rubber, whereas those are still driving around the circuit on well-used medium tyre rubber. So in the initial stint, Campbell Adams might be okay, but it's towards the end of the race where that falls off. He'll obviously be looking to fire in some very quick lap times in order to cause any potential spoke in the prospects of Gregory Prisball or Yusuf Said at this stage. We'll have to wait and see how it's going to unfold, but it's not certainly going to be optimal here for Campbell Adams. At the very least, he needs to get that wing changed anyway, and obviously it's going to be a longer pit stop as the crew will look to get that done, as now Gregory Prisball continues up at the front. Yusuf Said, though, has not given up by any means. Great news for fans of Riley McKay. He's back to within DRS on Oscar King, who quintessentially is back within DRS now on Yusuf Said. So the top 4, we're now back with a top 4 here at this point, all with a chance of taking a win. And Riley McKay essentially in the old Campbell Adams position. He's on hard tyres for this initial stint, looking to do the overcut.
Yeah, and this is a Riley who still hasn't gotten a race win inside of OFI. As there we go, Gregory Prisball and Oscar King pull into the pit lane. So the pit stops begin now, and they don't want Campbell Adams to get a big undercut. So that is brilliant timing for them as they come into the box. And now Riley McKay is let loose to try and attack Yusuf potentially and begin the overcut. I really, really hope that this could work for Riley. He's been waiting so long. He's always been P2 or P3, but he's never quite gotten the win. And this puts him in a prime position, as Campbell Adams was, as you said, George, a few moments ago. So this is a brilliant opportunity for Riley McKay to try and take a win.
It certainly is, and there you can see the amount of time lost due to that initial change from Campbell Adams. He is now 4.7 away from Oscar King as it stands, who currently sits in 8th place, but now on a fresh set of hard tyres. So any hopes, I would say, that Campbell Adams had of taking a big result here today have been totally dashed due to that damage sustained to that front wing, among other things as well. So unfortunately, 9th place at best for him, as now we see Riley McKay moving past Yusuf Said. So for the first time now, in an OFI outing here at Texas, we see Riley McKay hit the heights of P1 on circuits. Obviously, whether that will be for the race as a whole, we will have to find out later on after all pit stops have been accounted for.
Yeah, The only tricky thing for Riley is that he will get majorly undercut, and then he has to try and close the gap. Even with the better tyres, we know that making moves isn't particularly easy, although the start of this race would disagree. But I think when everybody's really, really pushing to the limit, it could be a bit more difficult, as now we see Yusuf come into the pit lane. So we'll see what the damage of the one-lap undercut is, as Jack Humphreys and Oxchillo also pulling into the lane here, entering lap 12. But Riley needs to get his head down now, push out and try and do his best, get the best lap times he can achieve with those hard compound tyres. This is his time to go, as Campbell Adams now puts the nail in the coffin. He gets a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, day is done on his part now, as we see Gregory Prisball, your quintessentially net race leader, continuing back into second now, past Yusuf Said, who has forfeited a lot of time, just simply owing to the fact that he has remained out on his mediums longer than Gregory Prisball and Oscar King have. He's now down into fourth place, 2.6 away from Oscar King, with Prisball now locked into second, 16.6 seconds behind Riley McKay, who's going to look to try and go as long as he possibly can on these hards without causing too much detriment to the time gap between himself and current championship leader Prisball, just so it gives him an opportunity to fight for the race win when he'll look to move on to fresh medium tyres. At the moment now we see Prisball storming down through towards the heavy braking zone at turn 12, here inside the second sector of play here at Kota, as now Oscar King gets a little bit closer to the back of the Red Bull's rear wing. Yusuf Said 2.8, not closing at all at the moment either, and is still ahead of Campbell Adams. We now see Potato looking to move past Matt Pleavy here this time, and has made the move work, and now closing up to the back of T-Mac in a battle over P8.
Yep, so this is now Potato trying to make some headway in this race, and I think he's right there, and he's basically pushing T-Mac through the corner. Now he's on the outside of turn 16. Is he going to sweep through and get that done? No, T-Mac holds on for the moment, but Potato looking feisty. He looks like he wants to get a move on at this very moment in time. As you can see, through the triple apex right-hander, he's just right there over the back of the Aston Martin. I think that we'll see him get a move done very, very shortly.
Yeah, we see Campbell Adams popping up it back into fourth as well. He is, well, it's never say die on part of Campbell Adams now. He's looking to chase as much points as he most possibly can. He's now ahead of Yusuf Said, who's now been dropped down to fifth. So it's the medium tyres now starting to work here for Campbell Adams here in the initial, but we know that they are going to fall off, well, majorly coming through to the end of the race. But he has got to see this through. No point in boxing twice, because that will be largely a detriment to his performance come the end of the race. He's just going to have to try and suck it up and see. We saw a little bit of this back at Spa last time out in amongst the wet weather conditions that we, of course, witnessed. As now we see them storm down through towards turn 12 yet again. 14.7 seconds now between Prisball and McKay. That is another 2 seconds almost since we last checked. So Prisball putting a massive hole in the delta between himself and McKay at this moment in time.
This isn't going to be an easy strategy for McKay to pull off, but if there's any driver inclined to try and pull it off, it could definitely be Riley McKay. Campbell also was going to try the same thing, and we'd be seeing a similar story. But yeah, this is now really interesting. Riley will probably come out more than 4 seconds behind Gregory Prisball and Oscar King, but then what he can make up with the medium tyres could be highly significant. We'll have to see. Time will tell, as Campbell getting another 3-second time penalty. We say never, but you've got to say that is very much, if the odds weren't already stacked against him, that is basically the ender.
Yeah, I mean, he went out extraordinarily wide. I think all composure is gone on point of Campbell Adams, and I have no doubt it's due to the sheer frustration, the fact that, you know, mistakes were made and collisions were met, front wings were damaged, and therefore has largely put his race to bed, and he's now also cutting the chicanes as well, coming through inside the first sector. I just think, by and large, and I can quite understand this, Campbell Adams' head has distinctly gone as he receives yet another penalty.
Yeah, this isn't good for Campbell Adams, and, you know, with a situation like this, with so many penalties, this is now going to be a poor result here for Campbell Adams, and it's very much leaning towards Gregory Prisball, as if it wasn't already. It looked like there was a spark of hope, especially if he could go win this round, and then again, that he might find himself in this championship fight against the odds, despite not making rounds. But with a result like this, with this many penalties, this is now going to be even more difficult for Campbell Adams, if not the nail in the coffin when trying to recover in this championship.
Yeah, no, it's certainly going to be interesting to see whether he can carve anything out of the remaining rounds of this championship. Of course, there will only be 3 more after this one before we then descend on Abu Dhabi for the final round of the series. But plenty more to come, but this man has been absolutely sensational. Looking to return to the wins column for the first time since round 4 as now Jack Humphreys receives a 3-second time penalty as well. They're getting vastly distributed. We've got 4 drivers now with penalties against their name. That includes Campbell Adams, Jack Humphreys, Marcus Costa and Sebastian King. As we now make our way through on lap 15 of 28. We're now past the halfway point. Surely Riley McKay is going to be thinking about boxing probably around this time here, Lindsay.
Yeah, I was thinking so as well. Maybe this lap or the lap after, giving himself 10 to 12 laps on the medium compound tyre, which is when we saw Gregory Prisball and Oscar King come in on their medium. So we know that's about how long the tyre lasts. So we'll see now what works here for Riley McKay. But I think I am inclined to agree with you, George. He'll be in within, if not this lap, the next few.
Yeah, well, he can't really afford to drop too much time. And at the moment, obviously, those hards are depreciating right now against those fresher hard tyres that Gregory Prisball and Oscar King are embracing right now. As now Yusuf Said and Campbell Adams come together again, and this time Yusuf Said dances past Campbell Adams, who is now dropped to 5th place. It's 4.4 seconds between Yusuf Said and Oscar King. So that time gap hasn't shown much signs of closing, and obviously the more we move into this race, Yusuf Said is going to really miss the power of DRS on those drivers currently sat in 2nd and 3rd right now. It looks like Riley McKay is going to continue, though. Another lap on the used hard tyres. Surely this lap we'd expect him to come in.
Yeah, I think that that'll definitely be the case as Campbell comes into the pits again. I think that'll be his night done as he speeds into the pit lane for good measure, but potentially no retirement here as he pulls into his box. He might just be going for a tyre for the fastest lap potentially, but yeah, not great to see here for Campbell Adams in the grand scheme of things. Not how you would be expecting his race to go after seeing qualifying and the race, as Campbell Adams coming out well and truly behind off the back foot outside the top 10, and he gets a 10-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit white line. So yeah, I think that he's well and truly, as if he hadn't already, he's lost his head.
Yeah, I think ultimately, I think, especially with the championship on the line, he had a great opportunity to land a distinct blow to this championship. And I could understand that level of frustration as now he makes his way through the slalom and now descending down through as he now looks to catch up with the train of cars in front, of course, with Matt Plevey, T-Mac, Marcus Costa, as well as many others. As now we see Campbell Adams dancing through turn 11 and now heading down the long straight. It's still Riley McKay, your race leader, though, and we've been waiting for the impending pit stop to occur. 15 laps accrued on those hard tyres. Will he look to come in this time? No, he's going to go around again. I find this bizarre because he's going to be forfeiting time on time, and this will only negatively affect his strategy, surely, at this point, Lindsay.
Yeah, I mean, it almost, I think he's probably gone on too long, and I think it's going to be too little too late. He's going to have more than 10 seconds to close, realistically here, and he'll have to be over a second quicker a lap. We know that those hard tyres are going to be worn. They're not going to be particularly fast. With a fresh set of mediums, can you close that gap? I'm not sure. I think that even then, it's going to be pushing it for Riley McKay. At his driving level, it could still be too much.
Well, at the moment, it looks like Campbell Adams just having a little bit of fun out there with some racing with some of the drivers currently situated inside that bottom 10. Dances up the inside this time on Marcus Costa and immediately alleviates him of P8 right now on the tail of Potato 101, who's got 6-lap old medium tyres manacled to his car. It's 1-lap medium tyres for Campbell Adams here in this stint, who has ultimately embraced the second stop, but knows that he is by and large out of this race. So I think he's just trying to enjoy himself out there right now on the tail of Potato. So now we go full send down in towards the next apex of the corner. Late on the brakes. Campbell Adams now will move up into 7th place, but will sacrifice eventually the use of DRS, much like Riley McKay has at the front of the order.
Yes, we've just seen something, or I've just seen something interesting in the chat. Slammer chimes in and said, could Riley be waiting for rain? And I hadn't really thought of that possibility, but look at the sky, George. It's getting quite dark. Could there be rain on the way in this last 10 laps? This could be really interesting.
Well, I mean, that is a distinct possibility, but we are now coming into the final 10 laps before we reach the checkered flag. And I can't help but feel, I mean, if there's going to be rain, Riley is banking on it happening ASAP, because there's little to no point in continuing on these hard tyres until the very end, because A, he'll get a disqualification, and then on top of that, he needs the rest of the grid to correspond by also jumping onto intermediate or wet tyres, depending on the severity of it. But if it comes too late, then surely no one else is going to box at all.
Yeah, and that's even if it comes at all, because as Slam has just said, it's coming in about 15 minutes. The race will likely be over by then, or it'll hit on the last lap of the race. So Riley really taking a big gamble here. So I think that it's probably not the right call. He should have come in quite a few laps ago and then tried the chase down strategy. I'm not particularly sure what's going on with Riley McKay, but I guess at this point he's got to commit to the gamble on the strategy and see what happens.
Yeah, I think largely also hoping that Gregory Prisball and Oscar King use up their tyre sets. We'll wait and see. Obviously 10 laps to go. At the end of the day, if it does rain, then well called by Riley McKay. It'd be an extraordinary choice of strategy, and he would have been the sole driver to really think that one up. But we'll wait and see. He's now coming through the final corners this time and does come into the pits here and now. So we are going to see a Riley McKay pit stop. He's going to throw that idea of perhaps waiting for rain to bed and now surely move on to a set of medium tyres. Let's wait and see as he now comes in through the pit lane. Is that the compound they have waiting for him? I believe it will be. Yes, it is. The yellow-walled tyre letting him getting placed onto the chassis of Riley McKay. And the RB will move his way back out onto the track. But already, even prior to leaving the box, Prisball leads the race. And he's got a half a second cushion to Oscar King, who sits in second.
Yeah, and he's just come out in P5 right behind Oxchillo, so he'll make that move quickly, and then he's got to get the foot down. But how far is he off at the moment? He is currently sitting 12.7 seconds away from the lead with 9 laps to go. Surely that is not going to work. It's going to be a very similar situation to Gregory Prisball last time out at Spa after making his pit stop. Just too little too late, not enough to give. I think that's going to be the final story, and Gregory Prisball will likely take the charge, leading the way and cross the checkered flag first.
Well, I mean, you're talking at the moment approximately 13 to 14 seconds between McKay and race leader Gregory Prisball. McKay now dancing past Oxchillo in a move that you would anticipate he will get done comfortably, and does so. Now moves up into fourth now, 6.5 seconds away from Yusuf's side right now. But he'll need to put his foot down. At the moment, like I said, you're talking approximately 12 seconds between race leader and the man in fourth place. He is largely going to have to take at least around 1.5 seconds a lap out of the drivers up at the very front and then some in order to have a chance of at least challenging for the race win. I think he needs to be hitting 2 seconds a lap here at this stage at the very least with 8 laps to go. We'll have to wait and see, because it's one thing to get close enough, it's another thing, Lindsay, to make the move. But he did go purple in that last sector.
Yeah, this is now going to be a really interesting chase down, but I don't know if those mediums will have 2 seconds a lap. But then again, you look at earlier on in the race when Yusuf came out, or came into the box a lap later than Gregory Prisball and Oscar King, he lost 2 seconds. So that's 2 seconds a lap. So if he does similar and the pace delta is similar, it's possible, but I just don't see it happening.
Well, he's just gone purple inside the first sector anyway, so we'll wait and see as to how the times are affected. I think by and large we will see a new fastest lap of the race here from Riley McKay, and obviously being on a very fresh medium tyre set, the freshest tyres of all across this 13 car classification that still race out on circuit right now. We'll see whether Riley McKay can cause any
rain.
Anything. Yeah, I've just actually seen a couple of droplets come down, so it looks like the rain has arrived. And this is poor timing. Does Riley McKay gamble at this stage? Does he come in for a second stop and jump onto an intermediate tyre set? We'll have to wait and see. Does anyone opt for that? But a huge opportunity, surely, for someone, if they wish to attempt to manage the conditions that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's a very, very light sprinkle. You can barely see it, so I don't know if it's going to affect the track in time. But if it does, surely Riley stays out. He's got to gamble again, but in the opposite way, by not pitting. His tyres are much more grippy than the rest of the field as he does a 33.908 fastest lap. He's absolutely flying out there. He has more grip than everybody else. His tyres will hold on longer as the track loses grip. If Gregory Prisball and Oscar King are forced to come in the box, and likely Yusuf as well, he should stay out and take the gamble to try and take it that way instead.
Well, this might be a smart call here from Riley McKay. Okay, it may not be wet enough for the wet or intermediate tyres, but just having a grippier tyre by sheer reasoning that they have not seen a lot of action. Bear in mind, those hards up at the very top have seen their fair share of racing. So surely as the grip depreciates, so will then the grip by a greater extent due to the rainfall. This could still yet go Riley McKay's way, and he's taking Delta severely out of Yusuf's side right now, and he's in the visual of Riley McKay right now as they storm down through towards turn 12. It might not yet be over.
Yeah, I don't think it is actually now, George. I thought he was down and out. He's 8 seconds away from the top two at the moment, so it's going to be really difficult. It has to still be over a second a lap, but with grippier tyres, a track that's depreciating in grip, this is not over yet, George. Riley McKay could yet still have a trick up his sleeve. He just has to clear Yusuf quickly without losing too much time when he gets to him.
Yeah, just needs to manage his pace. Obviously can't afford to make a mistake. One penalty and it all falls off. Gregory Prisball half a second ahead of Oscar King. Yusuf's side 5.6 away from Oscar King in second. Right now it's 2 seconds between the drivers sat in P3 and P4. McKay is doing his damnedest to close the gap. You can forget fastest laps. That's not going to happen now, but it's just about being sheerly faster than the drivers in front of you. That is the mission on part of Riley McKay as Jack Humphreys now goes wheel to wheel with Oxchillo in a battle over 5th place. I'm going to break inside that top 5, and former champion Jack Humphreys now moves ahead of Oxchillo and will relinquish P5 away from him. But remember, does have a penalty against his name, so needs to enlarge the gap between himself and Oxchillo in order to withstand it and hold it when the checkered flag comes out.
Yep, Jack needs to continue to extend, as you were saying, George, and it looks like he has quite a significant amount of pace over Oxchillo, so he might actually be able to do that. That's another thing to keep an eye on here, as Riley McKay seemingly not closing as much since the rain has started to come out. He's got to play it a bit safer with his driving, so despite the extra grip, and he is still closing on Yusuf quickly, it's not by the same margin as he was closing when he first came out of the box. So Riley not out of this, but in a very difficult position. Yeah,
Oxchillo also managing to get past Jack Humphreys again, but Humphreys now on the return, looking up the inside as they duel over P5 again, but the better line on offer here for Oxchillo, who's looking to hold on to his claim of P5 right now. Back comes Jack Humphreys. They make contact together, and it was what looked to be front left tyre to side pod. Humphreys coming off the better though, and will move into that 5th place.
Yeah, that was a good move from Jack Humphreys, but now surely we'll see Oxchillo attack once again, as we saw moments ago, maybe even into turn 1, as he is right there, but you've got to imagine the run into turn 12 will be a more popular choice, as we've seen over the course of this race. But Jack is defending the inside. Oxchillo having a little back out there on the turn in, the car's balance potentially being a little upset by this rain. It doesn't look like anything's been too severely affected on the track yet. I say that as Potato goes flying off the road in the Williams, but 5 laps to go, rain still falling, but the track looking unbothered at the moment. Maybe just a little bit greasy here for the drivers.
Yeah, I mean, that is the challenge. They've got to strike a balance. Riley McKay now within DRS of Yusuf's side, and that has not been disabled yet, folks, of course. We're still largely in what is considered to be dry conditions now. Did Riley McKay remain within the DRS window long enough? No, he didn't. So he will not have DRS down this long straight, but it's still closing on the back of Yusuf's side. Just looking to use a little bit of battery to just ensure that he is tucked in behind the Williams rear wing. And now, by and large, inside half a second of Yusuf's side right now, and we'll look to duel over 3rd place to at least capture a podium. It's 6.6 though between Yusuf's side and Oscar King. 3-second time penalty going Potato's way here in this stance now. We are on lap 23. Gregory Prisball still leads the race, but The big question also is, Oscar King has been afforded the opportunity to basically save his tyres. He hasn't moved a muscle at all at the moment here, Lindsay, which means he could yet be saving his car.
Well, he's in.
And his compact. Oh, Riley McKay into the pits.
Yeah, the track was just starting to look a little bit wet. Sorry to cut in there, George, but I saw him pull to the left, and instead of doing what I thought he was going to do and stay out, try use the extra grip, the track looking a little bit slippery now. You can see the raindrops on the surface of the racetrack, which you couldn't see before, and Riley's decided to pull the trigger. This will either be a masterclass after a bit of a strategy blunder, or it'll be not enough. This is going to be now the stakes raised even higher as the track continues to get slipperier with 4 laps remaining.
Well, I mean, this is a gamble, isn't it not? But at the same time, 4 laps to go. Does Gregory Prisball bother coming in? It is a huge ask to make that decision, but if the rain continues to flurry down, as it has done, as we now see cars going off, I think Potato has come askew again. So he's had problems. Marcus Costa, Campbell Adams with more penalties. Gregory Prisball, still your race leader for now. But the big question is, does he box or does he not? Riley McKay already within a second of Campbell Adams now, as we see Oscar King just hovering on the rear of the Red Bull. They're getting a little bit dicey out there on those hard tyres. It does look like the grip has failed them majorly at this point, and certainly considering that we're seeing Potato fly off, Sebastian King going slowly inside the final sector, I think things are getting more and more treacherous now. This could offer a huge window of opportunity for Riley McKay, who now moves around the outside of Campbell Adams in a bid to try and take that P6 away from him, and he does. It's now 8.3 between himself and Oxchillo over 5th place.
It's a lot of time to gain. Gregory Prisball and Oscar King electing to stay out, however. This is going to become really risky, as you can see them slipping and sliding around the circuit. He's had multiple snaps of exit oversteer already as Gregory Prisball, and Humphries now in as Gregory Prisball also locked the brakes into turn 1. This is going to require excellent driving from Gregory Prisball, not just to keep it on the track, but to keep it at a pace that is comfortable enough to hold off Riley McKay. He sits so far away from the lead, but with so much extra grip over the cars in front of him, can he close? 3 laps remaining in this one. It looks like it could be over for Riley, but also, all the while, the track is only getting slippier.
Yeah, I mean, the drivers are still trying their damnedest to maintain control here. Campbell Adams has, of course, retired from the session. That's not a surprise, certainly based on what we have seen already. Potato has just retired as well. Obviously, quite a few drivers really suffering the harsh conditions that have suddenly fallen. You just see the tail getting whipped out on that Red Bull of Gregory Prisball. That car looks less than happy on that hard tyre rubber out there. But Riley McKay with a lap-old intermediate, 5.4 away from Oxchillo. Is there enough in this for him to close him down? Based on what we're seeing on face value, he would need it to get to a point where Prisball and Oscar King find it totally undrivable to continue on those hard tyres.
Yeah, and I don't think that's coming. I think the rain has just gotten a bit heavier, though, and Gregory really struggling to make the corners, but I don't know still, George, if this is going to be enough. This is going to be really close to call as they enter lap 26 of 28. Riley McKay on hot pursuit. He's already closed 2 seconds on Oxchillo through a single sector, but Gregory Prisball and Oscar King driving a bit faster than that. But for some perspective, Gregory Prisball was 11.9 seconds off his best lap of the race last lap round.
Well, I mean, we're talking sheer tenacity, sheer performance brilliance here from Gregory Prisball to unlock the use of these hard tyres, to manage them so they can, of course, continue with his reign up at the very top. Oscar King now starting to fall off the back of Prisball's Red Bull right now, just really struggling through the S-bends where things do get very treacherous indeed under the slick conditions. So those curbs are going to be so greasy. Gregory Prisball somehow hanging on, showing us exactly why he is our championship leader coming into this very round. I mean, my goodness, what a story. Riley McKay is already 1.1 away from Oxchillo. That time gap has cascaded already. And now McKay looking to put a big hole in the Haas this time. 4th place in the offing. He might choose to elect to get it done even before the corner apex coming in towards turn 11. And he does go late on the brakes. And that is a sheer illustration of the difference between the inters and the slicks here on lap 26. But is there enough time? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Riley was 4 seconds quicker last lap. He needs even more than that. This is going to be absolutely incredible. The track looking even wetter again, though. This is going to be so close to call, I think. If Gregory keeps it in a straight line, though, he should claim the win. But you never know. These conditions so mistake-prone. Riley still hunting, still closing every single corner. This is going to be an absolutely close finish. This is going to be one of the best finishes that I've ever seen if Riley can continue to close at the rate he is at the moment.
Well, he's taken 3 seconds out of Yusuf's side in one sector alone. So that is astonishing numbers. But is there enough time? Riley McKay, 7.3. The time continues to fall. It's now 6.9. He is closing meteorically on Yusuf's side, but then he has got to close the 8.2 that separates Yusuf's side and Oscar King, and then by extension past King and Prisball. And we are on the penultimate lap of the race. It is an astonishing feat, an astonishing set of affairs. Riley McKay closing all the time. I mean, look at this, 4.8 now here at the start on this next lap, lap 27. And he is rapidly ascending and closing on Yusuf's side right now. Just look at it, 3.6.
Yep, the gap is closing a second every second pretty much here, George. Just look at that. Look at how close he is now to Yusuf. It's almost inside a second. This is absolutely incredible stuff at the moment, and the track looks absolutely destroyed with rain at the moment. This could be Riley's time to shine. There's not much time left, but he's ahead of Yusuf with a couple of seconds. Well, not a couple of seconds, quite a significant margin to close, but at the rate he's closing, that could be doable. But Riley McKay has lost his left end plate.
He's lost his end plate. He tried to, well, tie himself up behind the Williams in front. I don't know why he bothered to do that, because of course, I mean, why? Why do that? Why not just maintain your line? He had the opportunity. Go late on the brakes on the better tyres. My goodness, I think Riley McKay might have squandered his opportunity, but he does still have the intermediate rubber against his name. We saw the end plate fly off the RB. Will that be a detriment here, or will it still lead to success? The time is still declining. 3.5 now, and Oscar King has lost his gap within a second of Gregory Prisball, and he could be fodder for Riley McKay as we now enter onto the final lap.
The damage doesn't matter. The track is too wet. Riley's right there. He has so much more grip. This is absolutely on for a first OFI win here for Riley McKay. Look at the time he's closing. He's just going to drive around them here, George.
He is. He's on the tail here this time of Oscar King coming through the S-bends now, and King has no answer. The intermediate tyres now offering McKay a lifeline. His strategy looked to be ruined in the initial stint. He came back fighting. A late move onto the inters now. He's going to challenge Prisball for the lead. The championship leader getting undone by the strategical brilliance of Riley McKay, who takes the lead here on the final lap.
This is absolutely sensational here from Riley McKay. I cannot believe it, George. He's taken the lead here on lap 28 of 28 against the odds, and he could win this. He should win this here. This is absolutely sensational strategical work here from Riley McKay.
And I must say, we have not seen a race like this. The beauty of league racing, folks. You've just witnessed it before your very eyes. And it's here at the Motorsport Australia partnered OFI Championship, the OFI Cup. Of course, brought to you and powered by Motorsport Australia. Riley McKay providing us with a blockbuster finale, taking it all the way to the final lap. The strategy looked to be dissoluted. It looked to be destroyed. He came back fighting after moving on a two-stop strategy, eventually partaking in the intermediate compound of tyre. It has rewarded him today with 2 overtakes on the final lap, securing him a race lead, and by extension as he rounds the final corner, a victory here in the OFI Cup. It's Riley McKay who wins at Kota in truly dramatic style. What a story. Gregory Prisball will take home yet another second place finish, and Jack Humphreys down in 4th despite closing on the front 3 will take 4th place anyway behind Oscar King. But what a finale, what a victory. Riley McKay becomes our 3rd different race winner in the OFI Cup this season.
Yeah, McKay has his masterpiece with that absolutely beautiful strategy. He takes his first ever OFI win, and in what dramatic fashion. That is one of the best drives I've ever seen from that man, and that is a drive worthy of applause. That was fantastic, and I cannot believe what has happened in front of our eyes here today. The upset. Gregory Prisball looked home free, but it goes Riley McKay's way.
Riley McKay, your winner for the first time this season in the OFI Cup, and what a way to do it. By my assurances, I'm sure that is one of the most dramatic finishes to a league race we have seen in a long time. But nonetheless, what a performance. Riley McKay, what a way to take your first win of the season. The RP has done it, finishing ahead of Gregory Prisball, championship leader, who will still remain championship leader after taking yet again another P2, has not left the top 2 positions on the podium right through the course of this season. To the first 4 race wins of the campaign, everything else has been second place. Oscar King home in third. But what a race. What a way to end life at COTA. We said that this track offers blockbusters, and this one surely no different. Riley McKay, a winner for the first time in the OFI this season. Let's run through the full results, if they come. Of course, generally we don't get to see them these days when we're ever broadcasting league races, but we'll wait and see anyway. By the looks of it, I don't think it's going to happen because the timer is unfortunately ticking. But regardless, we do appreciate drives like that, performances like that as well. What a way to win a race here in the OFI and marking, your first P1 on the calendar. Than a win like that, especially here at COTA, that has provided us with many thrills and spills in the past. Doesn't look like we are going to get the finalised results, folks, but do stay tuned to the social media anyway, regardless. I mean, Lindsay, in all your time of commentating F1 league racing in the past, where does that rank in terms of all-time great finishes?
That's got to be in my top 3, if not the best. That was absolutely amazing. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it, George, especially not on the sim. The only thing that I can even sort of compare is Jarno Opmeer back at China in 2021. But he had a lot more time to do it. He started on the inters from the pin dot, from the start against the odds, and did that. Riley did it in the span of 4 laps. That was incredible stuff from Riley. I don't think I'll ever see a drive like that again, but never say never. But fantastic driving and fantastic strategy working in tandem for Riley McKay, and that was just electric, George.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I can't give you a race classification, folks, so I will give this to you now, because I do have the ability of doing that whilst I'm streaming. Also, a big thank you to Slammer as well, who's working behind the scenes, obviously looking to get this sorted out for us. But yeah, we will take a look at the race results from that one. It was a pleasure to watch, of course, at the end of it. Here is how they stack up. Folks, at the end of the race here at COTA, the United States Grand Prix, Riley McKay, your winner, after starting 5th on the grid, ahead of Gregory Prisball in 2nd, Oscar King in 3rd, Jack Humphreys in 4th, Yusuf Said in 5th, and then Oxchillo, Thomas McInnes and Marcus Costa. Matt Pleavy down in 9th, ahead of Sebastian King, and Joey Snaff down in 11th. We lost Campbell Adams, Potato and Flubber towards the end of the race also. But what a way to win it. It's Riley McKay, your winner here in the OFI, and no question, I'm sure he's standing by here as well. And we will talk to, first and foremost, our podium sitters. Kicking things off, of course, with Oscar King, your P3 sitter. Oscar, I mean, what a race. On your part, you were right in the thick of the action. It was a challenge, was it not, with the rain falling down quite late on? I suppose you thought for a brief time it was going to be a formality between you and Gregory Prisball.
Yeah, I mean, I was aware that rain was kind of on the cards, but not to that extent. It's always hard to say on this game without telemetry what the weather's going to do. The panels are not always reliable, so yeah, at some point you just got to stick it on the slicks and just send it home, especially when the grid is not so close. So yeah, it was a weird race. It was fun to watch. Would have been not as fun if it was dry, so yeah.
Fun for you.
Well, I mean, far out. Not really. But
no, I mean, listen. I mean, it was an interesting result. I mean, I mean, automatically, I think it just goes to show that there are still surprises left, I think, on the F1 game, because generally everything is managed by team telemetry, and obviously you know that more than anyone, seeing as your work as an engineer with Ferrari is paramount. I mean, is that something that you're able to identify as an engineer behind the scenes? Would have you been able to make that call had perhaps you been behind the desk as opposed to being in the seat, or was there any type of opinion in your mind that intermediate tyres could be the optimal decision at any point through the course of that race?
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously with telemetry, it's a lot easier. You're in a better position to make that call, and obviously you've done the running to understand what constitutes bringing the car in or not. Especially at the end of the race, it gets tough because obviously intermediates are going to be quicker for the last 5 or 6 laps of that. But whether they're going to be quick enough by enough, they weren't until the last 3 laps, and then the last 3 laps there was a big switch and the grip fell off, and obviously there was a massive delta. The call is obviously 2 box, but in my position and in Greg's position, it's very hard to do that when there's not much payoff for doing so. So yeah, it was. It's interesting. Those decisions are always tough, but yeah, hopefully come esports is a little bit easier.
Well, you'll be hoping so, I'm sure. I'm going to throw it to Lindsay now to ask you a question. Feel free to interrogate him as much as you like, Lindsay.
I mean, I don't have much to interrogate, but just like, as he said, he just had to stick it on the slicks. And then when you saw Riley closing and closing and closing, did you think it was over heading into, I want to say, lap 27 in the penultimate lap? He still had quite a margin. Did you think you were safe, or did you know he was going to get there?
No, it was quite clear by kind of early lap 27 that he was going to catch. I don't think he thought so, but I thought so. But then obviously if you pit, you come out behind him anyway. Like, there's not really much point doing that. So yeah, you know, you just stick it and hope. Obviously Jack even caught at the end of the stint as well, but with his penalty I didn't lose position. So yeah, crazy race. I'd like some more dry races in OFI. There's been so many wet races. It's pretty dismal to be honest, but that's alright.
Well, we'll see what happens in the remaining rounds to come. I mean, obviously, we are going to the desert circuits of Abu Dhabi as well in the sequential round, so I think your prayers are going to be answered when we go there anyway, unless someone else has something to say about it or there is some cloud seeding put on offer. But big thank you to yourself as well, Oscar. Congratulations on the podium nonetheless, and we'll see you next time when we go racing again. Cheers. That's Oscar King, everybody, coming third last time out. We're going to now head across to P2 sitter Gregory Prisball. Gregory, championship leader coming into this, and I don't think we necessarily expected, or neither did the drivers expect, the weather to come down as thick as it did towards the end of that race.
Yeah, well, I just did the complete wrong strategy. Never listening to the engineer ever again. That was terrible. Lost 35.5 seconds, so to Riley, which yeah, speaks for itself really. But yeah, well, considering that no one did any practice for this, I don't think anyone knew what to expect. Don't know how we let a 0.2 be pole, to be honest. That's shameless. We should all be shot for that one. But yeah, I mean, the first 24 laps of the race were fun. The rest, not so much.
Yeah, it was a bit of a challenge towards the end, I think, even for you guys, obviously, as you know, budding professionals on the scene. I mean, obviously, looking ahead to the rest of the championship, though, you're in a very good position. Yet another P2. You have not finished outside of the top 2 spots on the podium right through the course of the championship so far, and still have 4 wins against your name. The championship, though, again handed essentially more in your direction due to the issues that Campbell sustained through the course of the race. So it still looks like a decent prospect that you will become champion prior to the final round. You must feel confident with regards to that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks that way, but I mean, we saw what happened with Campbell today. Anything can happen. I don't like thinking about that. I'll just do my best every race, and it seems to be working, so yeah, keep at it.
I'll throw it to Lindsay. Lindsay, over to you.
Yeah, well, heading into this round, you had a 49-point lead over Campbell Adams, and now you have a 49-point lead over Riley McKay. So with 3 rounds to go, 49 points in your favour. Even after losing out to Riley there, it's got to feel in a position of being pretty safe if you keep the consistency.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just try my best like I always do. It seems like it's working pretty well, and yeah, not much more to do than what I'm doing, so keep at it.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, Gregory, thank you for joining us. We wish you all the very best with the rounds that are to come. Obviously, well done on another P2 and maintaining the record.
Yep, thank you.
Great stuff. Gregory Prisbell, everybody. We're now going to bring in race winner extraordinaire, Riley McKay. What a performance, Riley. To opt for the strategy, to be one of the few to make that decision. You must be absolutely delighted with that. Certainly based on the fact that it looked like there were going to be a few issues clouding your vision of a victory, with the end plate coming off while you were trying to fight your way down the long straight. And then on top of that, with the lengthy decision to run on the hards as long as you did on the opening stint, which threw it all into question. Were you absolutely sure the rain was going to help you towards the end?
Well, I was going to go hards because I just felt like I was in P5 or something different. Try and get up there. I kind of didn't drive very well for the first few laps on, I think, P7, so I had to come back through. And it got a bit lucky because they were fighting, I think, at the front because we were catching a lot, and so I got back to the front and sort of got ahead of Yusuf and was net P3 and sort of just driving my my own race then. But that panel of rain was just one little panel, and then it was just straight like sunny daylight. So I was just hanging it out. I was like, you know, maybe I'll just wait these 5 minutes that the engineer's telling me, and if it comes in box. And I mean, I was a bit torn because obviously with Yusuf, I was going sort of him is what I was my target, and I thought, you know, I'll just box now and we'll try and get ahead of him with the tyre before it rains, if it rains. But in the end it rained, so probably staying out would have been a more comfortable win. But yeah, but boxing for the Inter was more so to try and get ahead of Yusuf again, because it's going to be hard when it was all slippery, and then you know, DRS would eventually get disabled. So I thought I'd go for the undercut. Didn't really expect it to be as quick as it was in terms of the overall race time, with the win, even with damage and whatnot. So I mean, I'm pretty happy that happened. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic strategy. I mean, what does this mean to you, Riley? Because obviously you haven't had a win yet this season. It's finally arrived for you now, and it doesn't really get much better than this, does it? It's a win in this fashion after, you know, with various drivers, and obviously Gregory Prisbell, who has been largely one of the you know, impenetrable contenders this season, who has taken 4 wins in his first 4 races. We've only had Campbell Adams, who's been able to hold a candle to him in achieving wins this season. And you've been there, obviously achieving some decent point finishes with podiums as well, but it's another thing to win races, and winning in this fashion certainly sends a message, and certainly one of significance. You must be thrilled in the manner that you've done it.
I mean, there's probably better ways to win a bit more convincingly, but I mean, a win is a win. I'm not gonna, like, you know, complain. So I'm pretty happy, and it was actually a pretty I think a pretty thrilling race actually. Quite a lot of happening. So yeah, it was, you know, happy nonetheless.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. I'm going to throw it over to Lindsay now.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic drive from you, Riley, taking your first win of the season and becoming the 3rd winner of the season. It was absolutely fantastic from you, and I'll tell you what, it was an exciting race, Riley. We were on the edge of our seats here in the commentary box, and it was absolutely an incredible strategy call. But just looking to next time out, looking to Mexico, do you think you can try and challenge once again?
I think I'm always aiming to challenge. Whether I will, it's like, you know, will I be good enough to, or will some of things go my way? But yeah, I'm looking to obviously challenge every race. Mexico, I actually haven't driven at this game, so I actually don't know how it's going to be in terms of like the big straight and whatnot. But I do think it's a pretty fun track from what I've seen from, like, you know, Jan Otmir and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be fun.
Brilliant stuff. Well, Riley, congratulations on a magnificent performance. We wish you all the very best as we do head to the Mexican round. 3 rounds to go before we hit the precipice of the season. But congratulations on a fantastic victory here tonight.
Thank you, George.
Great stuff. Riley McKay, everybody, your winner here at COTA, and didn't he just do it in style? What a way to finish, I think, after that. We can now show you the championship standings as well, folks, as a consequence of that race here today. And believe it or not, Riley McKay now moving into 2nd place off the back of that victory, his first of the season, and has now broken that Century points gap. Due to Campbell Adams obviously not finishing the race, he is now dropped down to 3rd, despite being a 2-time race winner so far this season, obviously being bitten with the 2 missed races that have largely gone against him after the Australian race and the Italian race. Gregory Prisball, though, advancing his charge up at the very front, still sits 49 points clear of P2 with 156 against his name. And with 3 races to go, it's looking ever more likely that it's going to go his way once again in a bid to make it 3 titles to match Jack Humphreys. It looks like it's in Prisball's hands here at this point, Lindsay.
Yeah, I think it really is in Greg's hands at the moment. It's his championship to lose at this point. This is absolutely the most comfy position he could possibly be in, given every circumstance that has been thrown at him. And with his blistering consistency, as you said earlier, not finishing outside the top 2 in this season as of yet, and with some tracks that I know that he is fairly confident at on the way as well. I think that this is just the perfect opportunity for Gregory Prisball to take it again. And I mean, who else could it be with the way he's been driving, 4 wins in a row, then 3 P2s. That was, I mean, I don't think that's toppleable.
No, well, he's in a great position to make it happen, and we look forward to seeing it unfold as well. Just to give you guys an idea as to where we are going next in terms of the Oceania Formula Invitational Cup. This is the calendar. We have now marked off 7 dates off our calendar. We've got 3 to go. We're heading to Mexico now on the 27th of November. Be sure to join us for that one as well, live from Mexico City. We then head to Brazil, Interlagos for round 9, before then descending on Abu Dhabi for round 10, the last round of the championship, where we will hope to see the title go all the way, but it's looking ever so likely that Gregory Prisball is going to sew this one up prior to the last round. Remember, all times are Sydney and Melbourne based, and we do appreciate you all for tuning in and getting involved in the live chat as well. Of course, we couldn't do it without you guys supporting in the live chat, so we do appreciate you for that. Final thoughts on your part, Lindsay, off the back of that one? I appreciate, obviously, you were called up for the very last minute, but I bet you're glad you were.
Oh, mate, you have no idea. I've got the biggest smile on my face. I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm pretty excited to be back in the box again with you and just for OFI in general. But it was very last second, and I'll tell you what, throughout work I actually had a headache. So I was thinking, oh, this could only be fun, but I'm going to do it anyway because why not? And then that turned out to be the best race I've possibly ever seen. That was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to watch, and obviously, folks, be sure to stay tuned to everything OFI related as well. Big shout out as well to proud partners Motorsport Australia as well for all their support in making the OFI Cup happen. Please be sure to check out the social media channels, as I said. If you have been watching on Twitch as well, where we are live, be sure to leave us a follow as well. And if you enjoyed the broadcast, we hope you did. We certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. Where can they find you, Lindsay Muddle, in terms of in terms of your commentary profiles on social media?
Well, it should be at Lindsay Model for TikTok and then Lindsay Model commentary for Instagram. But I also just want to give one last shout out on this stream. It's something that's gone relatively undetected on the radar due to the nature of the rest of the race. But Sebastian King got points.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, obviously, a lot of the shine has been taken off that, actually, hasn't it, due to the win for Riley McKay. But yes, congratulations to Sebastian King on taking points as well. And it's actually 2 King brothers in the points as well, Jaden.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Not Jaden, Lindsay.
Not Jaden.
I need to stop reading that name tag underneath you.
Stop reading the graphic. Yeah. It's a pretty cool thing to see the 2 brothers inside the points. And Seb has worked so hard to get those points. So that's another big takeaway from the chaos and the carnage in this race. And absolutely big up to the lad Seb. That was great driving from him to get inside the points with such treacherous conditions. It was quite an effort.
Yeah, it was. Congratulations to Seb King on achieving that as well. I'm sure he's absolutely delighted with that feat as well. But yeah, a truly magnificent performance on all involved. In fact, I think he's looking to join the commentary box. I think we will. I think we'll bring him in just for this one because I think it means a lot to young Sebastian King. So we will bring him in. He probably doesn't know we're doing this. Seb, thank you for joining us. We feel that this is a matter of great importance that we need to discuss. I want to congratulate you on achieving your first points in the OFI.
Thanks a lot, George. Difference between working hard and not working hard, I guess, but it was most certainly a goal of mine to finish with something, some form of point, prove myself something, and it may not have happened in the exact manner that I wanted it to,
But no matter how they come, we take the points.
Well, I
We
mean,
take them.
listen, we've seen Kings do well here in the OFI already, obviously with Oscar's performances in the past. And then on top of that, he's since become an engineer for Ferrari as well by extension. But obviously on your part, obviously you're trying to write your own legacy here in league racing, certainly here in the Oceanic region. I mean, results like this can spur on talents to go forward and once again improve. So surely you have bigger hopes than just this on the table.
Yeah, no, look, most certainly. I guess now for me, it's about trying to find what's the next step. I guess. I've achieved what I want to achieve. Doesn't mean that we're done. We're going to put in, more work for the next couple of events to come and see if we can try and get a bit of a more points rather than a singular, I guess. Get some more points on the board and then see what's next on the cards. And in terms of my brother and what he's building, not trying to copy or anything, trying to build my own thing, but also, proud to be, associated with him and everything that he's doing is unbelievably big and wonderful. And hopefully try and not necessarily follow in the same footsteps, but look at that, inspire to that. Maybe cringe as people might say, it is inspiring to, not only have someone from our region do it, but my brother do it as well. And we'll build and we'll get to bigger and better things, and we'll see what the future holds.
All about.
I'm looking forward to it.
All about writing your own legacy, my friend. That's what it's all about. Lindsay, I'm going to throw it over to you as well. What do you want to say to our man Seb?
Well, I want to say congratulations, but also you said you're talking about going bigger and better and trying to get better results. Is it time to go annoy your brother into some coaching?
I don't think I could convince him to do so.
Doesn't want to give away his secrets, that's why.
Exactly right. I know.
Yeah.
I don't want to give him mine. Clearly, there's some secret source that I've found. But yeah, I mean, you keep putting in the effort. I started this game at, where every sim racer kind of starts and turn things off and work towards it. And I've got a couple of boys of my own that I discuss this game with, and if you just put in time, you put in effort, you try and put it in the right areas, results come their way. And tonight is evidence of that, as we may have been elapsed by a majority of the field. That doesn't matter. We've got the points and we're satisfied for now. We'll be satisfied for the next 24 hours, and it's about putting in the work to maybe get multiple next week. That's the aim, that's the goal, and that'll, at least in my head at the moment, that'll occur.
Well, listen, hopefully it's the first of many, Seb. And listen, we congratulate you on achieving this. Obviously, it's a great feat for any driver to secure a result like that. We wish you all the very best for the remaining rounds and hope that we see you perhaps here for a podium next time as well. Congratulations, Seb.
That's the plan. That's the hopes. Thanks, both.
Top man. Sebastian King, everybody. Points finisher here in our, round 7 of the OFI Cup. But if you have enjoyed the show, please be sure to check out the OFI on social media, and also do follow the Twitch channel. Like you say, please check out Lindsay Muddle as well. You can also find me, George Morgan, at George Morgan TV on Twitter, Instagram, and of course TikTok. We will see you next time, though, where we go to Mexico City. But from all of us here in the OFI, it's goodbye.